What's up, guys? Welcome back. We have a pretty unique and cool build we got going on for a customer of ours. This is going to be for Jesse Gage. He has a pretty rad 1965 Mustang, and for the purists, a couple years, it's got an LS-swap in it. I have no issue with it at all. He wants a nice, reliable driver that specifically can be used for autocross or other different form of things. However, it's very tight to fit some headers in there. So as you can see right here, we already have some scan markers in there. We're about ready to get scanning, but it is tight in there. So we're gonna get some hood rat headers made for him, fully equal length, and then down the road, we'll get the rest of the exhaust figured out, I believe. But let's at least get this thing going so he can keep moving along on this build. This thing is awesome. The color is something that I never thought I would like, but seeing it in person is so rad. It's like a peach, almost kind of salmon. The wheels are amazing. The whole build's awesome. It's got a full Watts 4-link in it. Massive fuel cell. It's rad. This thing is going to be such a rad, just daily driver, cruiser, something you can go and just go hit Pacific Coast Highway one day and then over the weekend go take it to an autocross course or a road track or whichever and just absolutely rip on this thing. So we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. So we're going to go ahead and start with scanning, and then we'll put that into Fusion and actually do the process of getting the headers kind of laid out where I need them to be, and just trying to explain like kind of the process of why I go about doing this and why we do all of our headers in CAD as well as all that kind of stuff, because they're all, we're bringing the science back to headers. That's kind of the goal of what I sought out to do when I started all this stuff. And you know, just like our race truck that's sitting right over there, we did everything to where we got the most power, the most benefit, the peak RPM range, all that kind of stuff. So that we're gonna do the exact same thing with this as we do with all of our customer builds. So let's get started. First things first, let's bring up the scanner, start scanning. We got everything scanned. Started at top, kind of moved around. I didn't really need the front of the motor, but the more I have to locate all my current files, the better. So I have the main kind of area I need. Driver's side is going to be the tightest with the steering shaft. Passenger side, a lot more room, but the hardest part is going to be these shock towers. We do have the ability to kind of cut some of this out, add in a supporting plate that's going to keep the strength in there to allow room for it, but I'm going to do my best to try to get these headers to fit without any other modifications. It's going to be hard. It's going to be quite a challenge, but should be pretty good. I've got faith in it. I've worked with less room, so we're going to try this out and just kind of we'll get this into Fusion, get it laid out, and the first step is just kind of get some planes figured out. Separate the mesh file so that way I can kind of hide the parts that I don't need to fully see. Like if I'm looking here, I can't really draw. So I'm going to hide all this so I can still have that and just move from there and start figuring out where the cyclone collectors are going to go, and then just start actually first I'm going to do the math, figure out where I need to put the length of everything to get where he wants it to drive as far as peak RPM and all that kind of stuff. So let's get going. All right, now that we actually have all the scan data now in Fusion, we can actually work with it, and I know exactly how much room I'm gonna have now with the shock towers. So I can figure out kind of what I can fit. We're trying to get some inch and 7/8 primaries in this. Everything equal length as well, but obviously these shock towers are gonna be a pretty massive problem. So more than likely I'm gonna make a plate that he can cut out and basically fit in something that's nice and clean, just gives some more extra room without interfering with the shock relocation and all that kind of stuff that he already has in for the front suspension. So let's start playing around with that. I'm gonna, just see what I have with room and make the decision from there. So, but at least now it's in Fusion and scan looks pretty good. It's all put together. And just as I expected, need to modify shock towers. So we just kind of opened up a lot more room. I just kind of went up, created a plane about an inch above the upper arm mounts, so that way there's clearance for that. And then I just started with kind of just a random rectangle, turned it into sheet metal, and then actually formed it and did a 90-degree break all the way up. And then basically, I'll show you on the sketch here. So first it's just a little rectangle, kind of the measurements I needed, and then I actually took spline tool and actually traced along the scanned or the mesh data and followed the shape of everything, got everything kind of put together and in there. Started with the bottom, started with the top, and then kind of used the split face tool and used that sketch to actually split the face and create an actual sheet metal part that can be laser cut and then formed with a press brake. So these things can now get cut. I did both sides. They are a little different side to side. I was trying to mirror them, but it's just better to just make one part for each. So these are now going to allow a lot more room, and now we can actually start fitting some primary tubes to see, layout and all that kind of stuff. I'm gonna probably start with passenger side and go, actually I'm gonna get the LS3 file that I have in its place, so I actually have a physical file instead of the mesh, and I can hide this data so it doesn't slow the computer down, and kind of just start working from there. I'll get my cyclone collectors that I have kind of designed for this build. They're 1 7/8 to 3-inch outlet, and we're gonna kind of put them a little higher. I'm gonna have to go down with cylinder 8 to get the length I need, but it should allow and match what I need to do on cylinder 1, which is come up and over the rest of the tubes, or cylinder 2, sorry, not cylinder 1. And then once that's over, I can arrange where everything's gonna go in the collector, because these are radial fire and they are matched to the collectors that I've designed, because there's just a little bit of science in there that creates, a lot more scavenging and frees up some free horsepower. So we can start doing that. I'll get the LS3 model kind of dropped in here, and then start getting my flanges that I have modeled, put that in there. And then I can start working on some primary tubes. Had to make all new, or adjust the shock tower plates, but those are in. Those are actually already sent over to Jesse, so he can fit those into his car. And I have the headers fully drawn up. It is insanely tight, these headers. So next step, all I got to do is just I take each tube, and then I make its own fixture that's to my fixture table, and then I can kind of lay out, cut it, all that kind of stuff, and fit everything together, and then actually fit it into the actual separate fixture, which is to the collector as well, and all that kind of stuff. So didn't film a lot of this drawing because this was a lot of headache. I had to figure out, I mean, super, super, super tight tolerances. But let's get these together. All right, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to fixturing. Each tube separate by itself. I leave all the sketches there so that way I also know what kind of degree and radius I have, and length and all that kind of stuff. So that way I can get all the parts ordered, so that way I don't over order or under order. I have just the right amount of tubing to do that. And then with all of these, I basically use the cutouts as my marking, so that way I can actually mark where I'm going to cut, and then it goes straight to a bandsaw at a perfect 90 degree where I have everything set up between that and my belt grinder. So this is how everything's going to sit. I do them all individual. They don't necessarily have to click into the table, but they at least can hold it. So now we can actually start cutting tubes now that the material's ordered and here and ready to go. Well, halfway through cutting and fitting most of these primaries yesterday, I've always been running into the same problem I have with every set of headers I do, which is actually getting tube fit in there. Because normally, like, as you can see, this is 3 inch centerline radius, 3 inch centerline radius. How do I fit that in there to cut it and mark it without just eyeballing it, looking at it? Came up with a solution last night. A marking tool. So I can actually lay this stuff out. Fits 3 different types of tubes, 3 different centerline radiuses. And now, let's say this bend right here is, so that's a 3 inch centerline radius. '71, or actually 81 degrees, 71 degrees, my bad. Now, I can just go right here, set it to 75, so I'm a little over. This is a perfect straight edge. And then on top of it, I know I need the leg to be 0.906. Take this to center, just like that, and I can mark 0.906 and then fit it in. Pretty cool. I don't know if anyone wants one of these, but if you do, leave a comment. Maybe we'll sell them, but at least it makes my life easier and faster. All right, we got all the tubes fit now for the passenger side header. Got the collector tacked up in its fixture. Can't do that fully welded until I at least have 2 of these tubes fully welded and set into the flange. So that way I can locate everything and then I can form the collector, since not quite round. And I always draw them undersized a little bit so I can make them perfectly round into the size of the actual V-band flange. But I will say that on these ones, after spending some time yesterday and coming up with this little tool, this thing works so good. So much faster, getting parts cut. I can just use my degrees that I used for ordering the material and then just have a cut list. And I can cut every single tube ready to go and then final fitment into the actual fixture. So that way I don't need to keep trying to, 3 or 4 cuts trying to get it to fit in there better. Now I can just do pretty much one cut and then just kind of face it on the belt sander or the belt grinder. And then that way it's good to go. So this thing works amazingly well. Like I said, it's for 3 inch 3/4, inch 7/8, and 2 inch in 2 inch, 4 inch, and 6 inch centerline radius. 2, 3, and 4 centerline radius. Everything's marked out, all the degree holes, everything's in 5 degree increments. It locks in, has a perfect straight edge. I don't know. I don't even know what to do about selling this thing. I know there's other companies that make them. This thing's just super easy and simple. So yeah, any more questions? Like I said, always leave comments. I don't know why I keep bringing that up, but we're gonna get to actually fitting these tubes and get this header made up. And yeah, let's go. These are all loosely fit now, but they all line up really nicely. There is going to be a bit of an order of how to put these together. Since I designed them to be kind of weaving through each other, I have to go in a specific order which tube goes in first to which goes last. So now I get to play that game. But these are going to be super cool looking in the car. This is all fit up now. Don't need the collector fixture anymore. But this is more or less what I was explaining. I have to get at least 2 tubes on here to locate everything, because these are fully tacked in, strong, ready to go. I can fully weld this. I have to weld from the inside first, and then outside, and then I can actually open this up to 3-inch, get it back on, and finish fitting the rest of the tubes, and then all that. But coming together nicely. This thing's gonna look insane, especially because they're gonna be coming up and over the back of the motor down into the tunnel. So this is gonna be pretty cool. 65 Mustang with an LS. Let's go. Look at that. This thing all welded up. I like to do the V-band flange before I actually get it on the header, because it's a lot easier to weld, and I can always essentially get the heat better going and all that. But this one came out really good. Really happy about that one. So now it's a little hot. Just like that. So now we can get this tacked together on here and start fitting the rest of the tubes. And this side would be done. And a bit of a time crunch, so I did not get a chance to finish filming the rest of the other tubes and final weld up. But this side, it's all done. It's missing the header tag, but I usually do that last. I'm going to go ahead and get the other side set up in the fixture, get the collector tack together, and start this process all over for the other side and get that going. Try to film what I can, but basically, here's the gist of it, and I'll definitely have some awesome shots of these things fully finished and next to each other. these are all finished up. Look at these pretzels. Came out so good. Took a lot of design work, a lot of figuring stuff out, and coming up with more plate work for Jesse to put in the car, clearing shock towers, but these are all finished and ready for him to install on that beautiful 65 Mustang that is going to anger a lot of people because it's Mustang with an LS. I love it. Awesome. Thanks for watching. Any questions, as always, comment questions. Make sure to subscribe, follow along. Got a lot more stuff like this in the works down in the future, and you know, just kind of enjoy showing what we do every day here at Heavy Ride Manufacturing, Clinical Racing. Thanks again, guys. See ya.